Have you ever seen a cow on a rotary milking parlor like this? Today I'm going to talk about these milking parlors. I'm a dairy cow veterinarian, and I think these milking parlors are really good for animal well-being. There are a few main types of milking parlors used in the United States, and this is an example of one of them. I typically see them on larger farms. So let's talk about how the cows live, how they get on here, and how it works. But first, let's back it up a little. Where the cows live and where they are milked is typically a different place. The cows spend most of their time in a big outdoor area on several acres. When it's time to get milked, someone walks through their corral and stands them all up to bring them to the barn. Cows are very smart and they know their routine. If you show up late to bring them up to the milking parlor for their milking time, they will all stand at the corner and moo and wait for you to open the gate. Once you open the gate, they will walk up to the milking parlor smoothly and calmly like this. It does not take a lot of pushing or a lot of force to get them to move. They are happy to go to the milking parlor because they know that the milking is a positive experience. They walk down this long alleyway and enter the milking parlor. When they enter, they are funneled down so that they get on the milking rotary one by one. Here you can see she's waiting her turn, but all of the spots are filled, so she has to wait until an empty spot. Notice her number. Let's follow this cow, 15811. When she notices an open spot, she walks onto the milking parlor all on her own. During this entire time, that rotary continues spinning. It does not stop, which is really good for cow flow because they don't have to wait as long for their turn. So let's keep following this cow. As the rotary turns, she turns with it. The first thing that needs to happen before she gets milked is her teats need to be disinfected. Here they use a sanitizing spray. So the milking technician will spray her teats and then will strip the udder. That means hand milk a few squirts of milk from each teat. Once the sanitizer has had time to work, it is then wiped clean. The teats need to be clean and dry in order for a cow to be milked. Part of that process is also inspecting the udder and inspecting the milk to make sure everything is normal. At this point, she spins over to the next milking technician that places the milking machine on her udder. She has 4 teats, 1 for each mammary gland, and there are 4 parts to that milking machine, and the milk all flows out together. At this point, she continues to spin around in a circle. The milking machine is only on her for about 5 minutes, but the whole spin around takes about 8 to 10 minutes. Notice all of these cows as they turn around in the circle. They are not kicking and they are not stomping their feet. If the machine was uncomfortable, you would see a lot more movement from these animals. But they are standing calmly as they rotate around. Let's get a close-up on the milking machine on her udder. Her udder is full and the milk is flowing out into that milking machine, and then it'll go through the lines and be combined with the milk from all the other cows being milked right now. Here she is up front. Remember her number, 15811. She's standing up here and the milking machine continues to milk her. But let's take a look at what it looks like from the front. There she is. 15811. She is spinning in a circle and she is rolling her tongue around like jerseys do. One nice thing about a rotary milking parlor is that she is with her herd mates. Cows are herd animals and it is very comfortable for them to be with other cows. So not only does she have a cow to her left and to her right, but when she looks across the circle, she can see other cows as well. Notice she's not spinning very quickly. This is not a stressful time for cows to be on this milking parlor. It's an 8 to 10 minute ride and then they go back to their home pen. Like I said earlier, cows do really well with routine. So the fact that this happens 2 or 3 times a day is very calming and comforting to them. They know what to expect and they're comfortable with that. As they are milked, milking technicians are monitoring the entire process. That milk is flowing out and into these lines, and we can see that the milking machine hasn't fallen off, is not uncomfortable, is not making any weird sounds, and the milk is flowing freely. and she is not exhibiting any signs of behavior that this is uncomfortable for her at all. Actually, as a veterinarian, one of the things that I do is evaluations of milking parlors and milking technicians, and sometimes I do animal welfare evaluations as well. Part of those always includes the behavior of the animals in the milking parlor. No matter what type of milking parlor you have, the cows should be calm. Cows are really big animals. These are Jerseys shown here. Jerseys will weigh about 900 pounds. If they don't like something, they will tell you immediately. As this is going on, as the cow is being milked, the other cows that are finished being milked are exiting the parlor, and the other cows that have not yet been milked are entering the parlor. So that flow continues. The cows are not having to stand around and wait for their turn. That flow is continually flowing into the milking parlor and out of the milking parlor. You can see that we are close to the end here because the cow next to her is already done milking, meaning the milking machine has come off. But our cow right here, that milk is still flowing. You can see the next cow is done milking as well. Sometimes they're slow milkers and they need more than one turn. This cow is almost done. You can see her start to stomp her feet because she can feel that her milk is slowing down and she's almost ready to be done. After the cows are milked, their teats need to be disinfected once again. So there's a milking technician monitoring the cows as they near the end of the rotary, and that technician can disinfect the teats of the cows that are done and determine whether the cows that are still milking need to go around for another turn. Many parts of this process can be automated, and that's actually more common on a rotary milking parlor because of the way it spins, so things are done at a certain time point with predictability. You can see the milk flow is slowing down, and she gives one more stomp right here, telling us that, yep, she's ready to be done. So the milking technician turns off the suction on the machine and disinfects her teats. Now we've followed this cow for one complete turnaround. Remember her number 15811. She backs out on her own and she starts walking out. Some of the cows are still standing there and some of the cows are walking on their own. At this point, no one is forcing them or making them move, so some of them stay back to hang out in the parlor longer. But these cows know that while they were gone, fresh food was placed out, their water troughs were clean, and their whole pen was cleaned out. So they have a really nice area waiting for them when they get back. And back on the rotary, the cows continue to go on and spin around. More cows enter and more cows leave. And actually, here's an example of a cow that is crossed with a Holstein. So she gives a more volume of milk, and it's taking her a little bit longer to milk out. So she's staying on for a second time around. You can see she's right at the beginning. These cows haven't started milking, and she continues to milk. Many parlors have some sort of cooling for the cows as they exit the parlor. Sometimes that is fans, sometimes that is misters. Here we can see a soaker. It senses when the cows walk underneath and it soaks their backs with water. So then when they get out into the sun, that evaporative cooling actually really helps them cool their bodies off. Again, no one is making them move. They're walking out on their own. Cows walk pretty slow, so they're walking at their own pace. Another common thing that is placed at exit lanes as the cows exit the parlor is a footbath. Footbaths are a little pool of water with some type of cleaning agent in it that really helps to treat diseases of the interdigital skin. They are used at regular intervals and cleaned at regular intervals, and the cows just simply walk through them and it helps clean off their hooves. This is an important part of the herd health plan for a dairy farm. Often they walk through a bath of just water first to rinse off their hooves, and then they walk through a secondary foot bath that actually has the agent in it, and that helps treat their skin. If we can do things like this during milking time and make it a part of their regular routine. So instead of bringing them up to a treatment area and then cleaning off their feet and treating their feet one at a time, they simply walk through it on their own after milking. It's much less stressful for the cows. So let's go back to our cow. Here she is walking out of the milking parlor right here, 15, 8, 11. You can see the next group of cows is ready to walk into the parlor, and her group of cows is just coming out of the milking parlor. Their gates are all set so that these cows are free to walk back to their pen on their own. A whole group of cows is brought up at a time, leaving the pen empty so that it can be cleaned out, fresh feed, fresh water, like I said. And then that way it's all ready for them when they're ready to walk back. So here they are walking back. Let's walk with them. The alleyway is wide, so many cows can walk at a time. And you can see it has grooves in it. It is wet because it's been cleaned, but the grooves help the cows maintain their footing and not slip. There's actually a lot of research on grooving of concrete on dairy farms to make sure that it is appropriate for these cows. While the milking parlor was very industrial and it was made of concrete so that it could be cleaned and could be maintained properly, the home area of the cows, the pen that they spend most of their day in, is dirt mostly. Anytime you see concrete on a dairy farm, it is put there for a specific purpose. The point is that so if water gets on there or if you need to clean it, it doesn't get dug out and become a big muddy pit. So it's put in high traffic areas like walkways. You can see their corral where they spend most of their time is very large. They have plenty of room to move around. Many of them are resting, some in the shade, some out of the shade, but that is mostly dirt. It's very arid in this part of the world, and it's hard to get lush pasture to grow well. So the dirt works very well because it can be cleaned out. If we continue following these cows, they walk in and the gate is set for them to walk back to their home area. So they're passing the other pens and walking in to get to their area. They stay with the same groups of cows. Cows actually have really strong social bonds, and they know which other cows that they're normally with. While the gates to the other pens are closed, in the alleyway, trucks drive by and drop feed. So some dairies have gates that close for this as well, but this dairy has cattle guards. So that way the truck can still drive and drop feed, or the farmer can still drive and look for the cows he needs, but the cows don't cross these cattle guards. Cattle don't have very good depth perception. So the way the cattle guards work is there's a light area and a dark area, and it's hard for them to see where to place their feet in order to get across. So they just don't cross it. You can see they're all lined up here, very curious to what I'm doing, and they kind of want to follow me, but they won't. It's important to understand how the cows see the world in order to know how to take care of them. So these cows, for example, are going from a really sunny area to a really shaded area. And because they don't have really good vision, a lot of times they will stop at that line from the sunny part to the shady part. So it's important as the cattle handler not to push them too hard. You can see there's nobody behind them forcing them to move. They are allowed to check it out and go at their own pace. A lot of these cows are curious to what I'm doing and they're stopping to look at me. But let's take a closer look. After a few times, the cows will learn their routine very well. But take a look at this Jersey cow. She is stopped exactly at the line from the sunny part to the shady part. She can't see this change in light very well, and so she's pausing right here. But remember, her whole pen has been let out of the milking parlor, and they're slowly walking down. You can see the other ones are walking up behind her. As soon as one cow goes, she will learn that this is a safe place to walk, and she will walk as well. Back in their home pen, the cows are kept on dirt, like we talked about earlier. This bedding can be added so that it is a deep, soft area for them to lay down. And then it can be cleaned out daily, and new, fresh dirt can be added. This is not the case with grass. So it's important to understand that there are pros and cons to each type of housing system. If you have any questions about the things I showed today, please drop it in the comments. And do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so I can tell you more about cattle, how they're housed, and milk. Thanks, everyone.